Hey gang, John Backrowley here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is September 13th, Friday, September 13th, so Friday the 13th. Let me say that again, Friday the 13th. Anyways, it's kind of fun saying that. Hopefully nothing bad happens. It hasn't happened so far. I hope I didn't just jinx everything. But anyways, so water temp at Belle Isle when I looked today was like around 71 degrees. It's been kind of bouncing around. I think last time we did the report, it was like up to 75. It's been kind of a crazy roller coaster ride on the water temp. But it has been like basically right now what we got stable temps. Like highs like right around 80 and lows in the 60s at night. And so the lake temp is pretty much kind of bouncing between mid to upper 60s to very low 70s. So don't expect that's going to change much in the next probably at least week, because it looks like we just got more stable temps. So looking at the weather, we've just got kind of stable temperatures. It's just going to be like close to 80 for daytime highs and then 60s or around 60 at night. So you take the high and the low and divide by 2, you get 70, and that's what you got out there for the water temp pretty much. So, which isn't at all bad, because it's pretty comfortable temps for all the different species of fish out there, other than maybe the silverfish that we really don't worry about too much out on Lake St. Clair itself. Take a look at the satellite image. Satellite image looks pretty darn nice all over the lake. A little bit of color over there on the Canadian side. I don't know if that's just some runoff coming in over there, or if we're just seeing color from picking it up from the bottom or something. But anyways, the lake is pretty clear all over the lake right now. Nothing to really talk about as far as, super dirty water conditions or algae blooms or anything like that. Lake conditions just look really good. And if the wind forecast actually holds, today we were supposed to have like a little bit over 10 miles an hour out of the east-southeast. And I don't even know if it hit 10 today. So it was actually pretty nice out there. And if that same weather forecast holds for the next couple of days, then actually should have some pretty decent conditions out there, especially for the weekend. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy it. A lot of you folks are still going over to the west side right now for kings. And my buddy Luke Pawlowski was over there from Outdoor Conquest, the YouTube channel. And he was fishing some of our Kangbanger jigging spoons over there, and he got in on the action too. So he's making use of that regular boat that he's got now, that deep V, as opposed to his kayak. And he got over there and he's chasing kings out there and got some nice ones. So great job, Luke, and hope to see you in the shop again soon. But yeah, a lot of guys are still going over to the west side. The cohos and the kings have been on fire. So not to send business away from us over here, but if you're going to go over to the west side of the state, now's the time probably to go, because the fishing's been really good. And it sounds like it's picking up over here on the east side too, up on the Ausable as well. So that's it, I guess, for my salmon report right now. The guides out here like Garrett Samsel are still picking up smallies, walleyes, and sturgeon, oh my, up on the north end. That kind of felt like singing that along, right? Where does that come from? That little ditty, anyways. Asking Joshua, but yeah, smallies, wallies, and sturgeon, and just that's still going up there on the north end. So I'm a little slap happy tonight for some reason. I don't know why. Big smallies for a lot of you guys have been really elusive out there. I'm not sure why. I'm hearing all kinds of weird stuff from, fish responding negatively to that live scope and stuff. But one thing is for sure, there's still plenty of smallies being caught out there, and the smallies are kind of mixed as far as where they are. So we're kind of in a reverse transition now. And the weird part about when we get to this time of the year in the fall is some of those smallies don't ever really come in. Matter of fact, some of them that went really deep, like out by the weather buoy, don't seem to do anything other than just stay out there for the rest of the season, well into the winter. So those are like a deep pattern fish, and those fish out in some of that real deep water will just stay out there, period, until it's time to spawn again in the spring. Then we've got lots of other fish, and we're getting reports of fish like down in the mile roads, anywhere from 10 feet on out. And then I got reports today of fish like just out in front of Harley that were in 6 feet of water in and around Harley. Now, some of those fish can just be release fish. There's so many tournaments that go out of that boat launch that a lot of times when they release those fish, they just kind of hang out there. But also, there's a lot of bait fish on the shoreline right now too. So I'm going to guess that these smallies are just keying in on these bait fish in and around the shoreline, and with the water temperatures in the upper 60-ish range, that's more than comfortable for these fish to be holding shallow now. So all that to say is, the fish are going to be scattered. You're going to have to work for them, and that's pretty common this time of the year in a lot of parts of the lake. Although down there on that south end, they normally school up really heavy this time of the year, especially going as we get into October and later in the fall. There's usually like just big, massive schools down there on the south end, down by the mouth of the Detroit River. But I haven't heard of that yet. However, we are hearing about a lot of perch down there on that south end of the lake. And it's in and around the dumping ground area right now, whether it's the north end or the south end or in the dumps or probably east or west of the dumping grounds. There's quite a bit of perch action going down there. And what I'm hearing from all these guys, regardless of where they're fishing down there, is that the perch are just stuffed with crayfish. And if they're stuffed with crayfish, I'm going to guess that the smallies down there on that end are eating a lot of crayfish and perch as well. So you want to probably stick that in the back of your mind, I guess, for everybody, whether you're chasing walleyes, smallies, or perch, that the crayfish are very active and apparently presenting pretty easy meals for everybody, including the perch that are down there right now. Also getting reports of perch up on the north end, like up in really shallow, so kind of the exact opposite of what the guys are doing down there by the dumping ground, which is still relatively deep. In some places down there, it's like 17, 18 feet. But up on that north end, they're fishing in just a couple of feet from 4, 5, 6 feet of water, maybe even shallower than that, up in and around pencil reeds, up around the cuts up there. So, polar opposites. And I'm sure we're going to start hearing more reports of perch in and along the Mile Road area too, as we continue to lose weeds in those areas and the fish start to school up down there too. But with everybody, focusing on these opposite ends of the lake, sometimes these fish in the middle just kind of sneak in on everybody, and then all of a sudden they're there. But heck, they might have been there for a couple of weeks by the time you guys find them. So all that being said, to maybe check some of these spots on your way out or on your way back in, places like the 400 Club, Geno's, Metro, over there up by Selfridge in Anchor Bay, and over in front of McInray's, places like that. They would be worth checking, at least give them a good look over, especially if you're not catching fish out in these main areas where everybody's targeting them right now, out deeper. Let's see. AJ Stadler sent me some pics of his crew, his young crew, out sturgeon fishing. This was, I think, maybe about a week and a half ago. And bringing this up, they got some little teeny weeny sturgeon, little juvenile sturgeon. And they look so cute, and they can be oh so dangerous, because those little buggers have got like razor blades all over their body. So AJ's kids were handling these fish very carefully. I'm kind of surprised they didn't have gloves on, but the fish seem to be pretty calm. But man, when those fish get riled up, those little ones can do a lot of damage. And for you guys, if you're getting like break-offs out there when you're sturgeon fishing, a lot of times it's these younger fish wrapping up on your line, and they get that line and in behind their razor blade-like scales, and they just cut it right off. So be very careful when you're handling these little guys, not only to protect those small juvenile fish so they can grow up and become big, 60 and 70 inches, but also so that you don't get all cut up and end up going, maybe even going to get stitches. Generally, they just kind of cut you up, real fine little cuts, usually not bad enough to go get stitches. But anyways, you guys get my point. They can be kind of tough to handle, so be careful with them. Maybe even you could use like a fillet glove or something too that, protect your hands when you're handling those little guys. Now, Craig DeJong's got a sturgeon out there, but this one was considerably bigger, and he sent in pics of this fish. And this is kind of your classic sturgeon that everybody's out there trying to get. I don't know if I got numbers on this fish, but it was a really good one and it had significant girth to it. So that's what everybody's targeting, but sometimes you get them little bitty ones instead, but it's all good, right? They're all really cool fish, whether it's a little baby dino or a great big full-grown dino. They're all really neat fish. Musky fishing. In and around the store on the American side here, which is where I hear, or what I hear most of our fishing reports on, is still going pretty good. Just talked to an angler today, and I think he went 2 for 4 out basically in front of that spillway area, which is pretty common. I think he was in like 10 feet of water. So not bad for a half a day fishing out there for a caster. Tommy Clark sent in a pic of this 51.5-inch fish that I guess was just over 40 pounds that he got when he was out fishing with Mr. Musky. Not sure where this fish came from on the lake, but there have been some dandies. I know I've been following Jason Quintano as well, Fins and Grins, and I know he just posted that they had 350s in a matter of like 20 minutes out there the other day. I mean, the fish just lit up. They got on some big fish, and they had 350s in short order, which is quite amazing. I don't know where else in the country you can do that on muskies other than Lake St. Clair. And you know, it's an amazing fishery. And as we get closer to the fall, these water temperatures keep going down. These fish on the American side are going to be easier to access as we lose weeds and boat traffic, and the water cools off and they start to key in on areas like the mouth of the Clinton River and the mouth of the spillway. So that's just going to get better as we go on, going into the fall. We're starting to get reports, speaking of fall, this year I think we're kind of like right on target as far as timing goes, and we are getting reports that the guys are catching walleyes at night and in the evenings off the various points along the lake. And then you guys know the different points, right? You got South River Road, you got Metro, you got Brandenburg further north, you got Blossom Heath. I mean, technically you got the mouth of the spillway too. Those will bring fish in at night as well. But those are kind of the primary places where you can access and, you know, get, I'll call it shoreline point access, that's public on Lake St. Clair. And they are picking up walleyes now. The guys that I talked to were picking them up throwing lipless cranks, specifically the red eyes. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing you can get them on. You can also get them on swim baits. You can get them on bombers. But some nights it's different. You can also get them on blade baits this time of the year as well. So if you go down there prepared, you know, with a few different baits, everybody try something different out till you get the right pattern dialed in. That's generally the best way to do that. And but they're getting some good fish right now, and it's really just getting started. But there's also getting a lot of reports of a lot of bait being along the shorelines there where those guys are fishing as well. So it's fall time. It's just going to get better and better. You're going to get more walleyes on the shoreline, going to get more muskies on the shoreline, more smallies, and eventually the perch as well, hopefully too. But I haven't seen that yet, so we are kind of waiting on that. So all that said, try to end it here. I know it was kind of a long report. Hopefully we'll see you in at the store this weekend. Looks like good weather ahead and hopefully good fishing as well. Hey gang, if you like our content, hit the little subscribe button and the bell icon and you'll be notified as soon as we put out new stuff.